welcome to Cutting the Bud in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always, I am hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Hello.
Today is a movie episode special, and we're going to talk about what might be one of the finest B-movies I've ever just watched.
The best, worst movie
The best, worst movie I've ever watched. Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Not sure I'll watch it again.
I'm not going to watch it again for another 15 years, probably. But when I do, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah.
It's still got it.
Still got it.
It's considered a bit of a cult classic. Roddy Piper.
That's it. We're not going to give too much away. Well, thanks to the returning listeners, and I'll go through the details of the cast and what it's rated on IMDb, which may surprise you. Let's thank some new returning listeners then. So where we are. Gateshead in the UK, Leverton, New York, Langord, Pennsylvania, Linz in Austria, Johannesburg in South Africa, Frankfurt, Germany, Novosibirsk in the Russian Federation, Mount Vernon, Washington. Wait, is it Bicester or Bicester? Bicester, hasn't it?
I think it's Bicester.
My last company of work used to have a distribution centre there, and I always used to call it Bicester.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's Bicester.
Yeah, I don't know. Delray Beach in Florida. Hope you're doing alright after the hurricane.
Oh, well, yeah.
Perryville, Missouri. Phoenix, Arizona. Katowice in Poland. I've seen you before. Welcome back. Spring Valley, New York. Dublin, Ireland. Bournemouth, Oregon. Let's scroll up to the top now. Madrid, Spain. Bangalore in India. Ashburn, Virginia. Stevenage in the UK. And Guadalajara, Spain. Round off the top 5. Thank you very much for listening. Tell a friend. Tell several friends. Tell anyone you want to.
Just take their phone, type it in on their YouTube channel and subscribe them. That's
what I do.
Apocalypse Bull, that's all you need to type in. Boom.
Well, hang on, you need to go on YouTube as Apocalypse Bull.
Yeah.
Cutting the Bull in the PTA on all your podcasting platforms. And on Facebook at Cutting the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. Follow us on that, give us a like. We'll deal with some memes. Click on the links.
We deal in memes now.
We do every day. We deal memes. Mike and I tirelessly mine memes.
Meme dealers, bitches.
So let's talk about Hell Comes to Frogtown. Directed by Ronald G. Jackson. Starring Roddy Piper, R.I.P.D. Julius LaFleur, a guy who was only known as RCB. Clicked on his IMDb profile. Still only known as RCD. Don't know who this guy is.
Oh, bit of an enigma.
Yeah. William Smith, Sandor Bergman, and Lee Garligan, amongst others. There's quite a large cast in this.
Yeah, not the best cast you'll ever see, really.
Apart from Roddy Piper.
Mostly women, other than him.
A lot of women who are just trotting around and you get introduced to for a couple of moments and then they vanish again, but they're all named.
Yeah, it was shot in 19 days.
Really?
Yeah.
That, you know what, for 19 days?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
$1 million budget. It was meant to be 3 and they trimmed it down a bit. Lost some of the script as well. It was meant to be a bit longer. And
I think an hour and a half suits it. Any longer, I've probably got a bit bored.
yeah.
This is 1988. So is this before or after They Live?
Good question.
I've just thought of that. I don't know why. Research Man Pink,
think it's
please
before.
Find us the year of They Live. It's a film called They Live. Roddy Piper. Now, this has an IMDb rating. Would anyone like to guess what it is?
Hang on, let's give our...
Same year.
Should we give our ratings and see if it matches it?
I want you to guess what the IMDb one is first.
Well, I know what it
I
is.
think it's
1988 They Live.
Oh, it's the same year?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one with the specs?
Yeah.
The X-ray specs that sees aliens or something?
Yeah. You know what, Mike?
Never
Right,
watched
let's give our ratings first. So I'm going to start with Claire. What's your rating of this movie?
I'll give it a good 7, yeah. I liked it.
Pete?
I went 6.5.
Mike?
6.7.
Ooh.
I'm at a solid 7. Maybe a 7.1.
Ooh. An IMDb?
They don't agree with us.
No, they really don't. It's a 5.5.
Ooh.
But it's a B movie.
I take it for what it is,
Yeah.
and for what it is, it's one of the most entertaining B movies I've watched in a while. Now, and I've never seen that film. I want to say I've never seen Hell Comes to Frogtown at all. I wasn't aware of this until Mike brought it to my attention. I was like, why the
Me
fuck didn't I know about this?
This film is basically one man's wet dream made into a film.
It is. It completely is.
Yeah.
And it's got everything. You know what? At one point, I was slightly aroused.
Was that with the Frogman?
No. No, not that bit. Although I did admire his costume. This film is set 10 years after a nuclear war in the latter days of the 20th century. It's an apocalypse. We're wiped out, there's mutants, there's still humans, and 10 years after, we try again to get civilization going. And there's provisional governments, and there's a government agency called MedTech.
I put end of life as we know it, because they haven't rebuilt everything, aren't they?
That's it.
Yeah, because 10,000 years of human progress has been blown to dust. That tells us.
There's quite a few holes in the plot to this story. There
You
really
don't say.
is.
For a £1 million budget, yeah.
But it's just a timeline thing for me. Really got it.
Yeah.
It's 10 years after the apocalypse.
And there's talking frogs.
And there's fucking full-on grown men style talking frogs and all that, like, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of evolution in 10 years.
It's a nuclear radiation.
It's the mutant genes. Yeah. 10 years down the line. Alright, I admit your timeline is off, because you'd be looking at least 2 generations for the frog people to get there, wouldn't you?
Years, if they'd have gone a couple of hundred years into the future, do you know what? I'd have given it a 7, maybe even a 7.2. That big one plot hole.
Well, it's not the only one, but yeah.
No. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we start the film with a weird little montage where we meet a character called Squidlips who's getting mugged, and he then shoots him, and then Squidlips fucked off. Because
he's after the Statue of Liberty. You see the Statue of Liberty in the sand, don't you?
That's true, yes.
And he picks it up. It's a bit of a nod to Planet of the Apes, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. Are you maniacs? You blew it all to hell. Squidlips shoots him Han Solo style in a way, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he says, that ain't the law, wieners can't have guns.
Wieners can't have guns. Turns out he's a frog and he ribbits.
He's not a frog.
He ribbits.
Oh, does he?
He does. Oh no, he's not a frog, but he ribbits.
Yeah.
He has the illusion he's a frog. We thought it's a double bluff, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Then we cut to quite a long montage, I thought, of Sam Hell being like posters of him and him posing in various action poses and things like that.
Yeah.
He's been captured and accused of rape against a... Was he the sheriff or a corrupt sheriff? Was he a guard? I mean, it was never really made clear.
All of the above.
Yeah. He was kind of like Judge Dredd, but without the cool helmet and under the orders of the ladies who are now running things, because presumably men have fucked things up enough so they just keep us around for a bit of...
Well, there's not many of us left.
A bit of brute strength. You know, it's very much a matriarchal society world we're living in here, which Claire was very happy with.
Oh yeah, I was very happy with it.
68% of the male population was wiped out. That's why it's just mainly women. It's almost, just over 2/3 of the men gone.
Yeah, I mean, good. You'd love to live in this society, wouldn't you, Claire?
Yeah. Men are fucking it up, big style. I've done for generations.
We've given some women the shot at fucking charge recently, and they've not exactly done much better for us, have they? Let's face it.
That needs to be a whole overhaul, sort of, proper slavery type situation, Pete.
Okay, alright.
The trouble is, this guy, Sam Hell...
Claire Prime Minister.
Jesus. Sam Hell's sorry, not Sam. Claire's gonna lock us in cages, gents.
We'll use you for your sperm and that's it.
Pretty much what this government's like. Go on, Mike, sorry.
I was going to say, you got Sam Hell running about, accused of sexual assault.
Against young women,
yeah.
It says. So, well, is this guy like a post-apocalyptic rapist, or...
He's left a string of pregnancies in his wake.
Yeah.
Is that what the nurse says?
Yeah.
And he's got the most potent jizz ever known to their records, kind of thing.
If you had a race of men bred from Sam Hell, you'd win any war, which they claim they're still fighting.
I don't know.
Come on, he's Mad Max with a loaded jizz cannon.
Yeah, but when it comes to it, as we're going to come to through the film, he's not that keen, is he? He's not as keen as he'd like him to be.
I think he plays it down a bit, I do.
Do you think?
I think he's just like, keep it cool. Don't smile too much. Don't let him on that I'm fucking loving this.
Yeah.
But it's pointed out, it's hinted at that even this guard is like a bit of a rapist as well.
Yeah.
So is it just that they're like, well, fuck it, I can... It's a dark future in a way.
But his charges were dropped because she became pregnant.
That's it. So it's okay.
Now, did the woman drop the charges, or was she forced to drop the charges?
Dropped the charges because she became pregnant and was like...
And medtech, if you get pregnant, medtech basically treat you like a fucking queen, don't they?
That's true.
So she was happy with the situation.
Yeah. Because she then gets like probably a nice penthouse apartment and maids and nurses to look after the kid because and then she probably gets laid again. She's fertile.
Yeah.
She's laughing.
There's a sign, isn't there? There's like an embroidery in the medtech, and
the Genesis quote.
It says, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and conquer it." Genesis 1.28.
And the warning signs: say no to condoms.
Join the future.
Yeah, they have to repopulate and rearm before the other side. The war's still going.
It's a baby race now. It's gone from an arms race to a baby race.
Yeah. And this nurse is trying to get him to sign some paperwork to basically become government property, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Junk's government property now.
Yep. Because we want a race of men like Sam Hell.
And they put like a chastity belt with a bomb on it, don't they?
This is very reminiscent of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You know, where they stick the bomb in their neck and say, if you go off our orders or stray too far without permission, then your head's going to blow off. Except in this scenario, it's Sam's penis.
But if this man is so valuable and his seed is so valuable, why do they risk blowing up?
Because I guess that he needs to be...
controlled.
He needs to be controlled, and he also needs to submit. Because that's what this is. It's submission at the highest cost to a man. If any of us two were wearing a chastity belt lined with 1 pound of high explosive, we would do whatever that woman wanted because it's our dicks.
Yeah, what happens is there's a fault in the equipment and it goes off, you know.
That's a risk you're taking at this point,
It's a high risk though, isn't it?
It's a high risk.
There's not many fertile men.
But this technology is probably very tried and tested.
Well, as in the film, he wasn't really up for the fact that this was on him.
No.
Because he didn't realise at first. He was like, oh, okay, I'll take this off now, Cal. And she's like, oh, no, that's on for good, mate.
So we give your handler the code.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do I pierce you? There's a flap.
Piss flap.
Basically, his job is to go out into the wastelands and shag loads of women.
Well, there's been an ambush by the frog people who've captured a load of soldiers, and most of them are women, and they're fertile women. So Sam is going to go on a mission with a couple of guards, a doctor and a guard, and go and rescue the women, and therefore, once he's rescued them, he has to impregnate them.
It's as easy as that.
It's as easy as that. Get your way into Frogtown, rescue the hostages, get them out, infill, exfil again.
It's in the car, hasn't it? The truck that he's got to go in. It's like, I've put it down as the pink shag wagon.
Yeah.
I went for the pink passion wagon.
He says, I'm not going in that.
It's got an M60 machine gun on top, which is just, I think it's remote control by the driver. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Obviously, that change of colour stands out a bit, doesn't it? As an armed vehicle, you don't want it to be pink, it tends to stick out. Unless you're in the desert.
Or unless you're in the sky.
The sky too. Do you work in the sky?
I think so. There was some guy that had a pink plane, didn't he?
I don't know. What, the Pink Panther?
In World War II.
There's a red Baron, mine, not the pink Baron. It wasn't his LBGT equivalent.
On our side, we did. We had a.
I'm going to drop some bombs on you!
No, you can't say that. You'll lose us the woke crowd.
We're going to dream it.
I hope we haven't got any, to be honest.
I don't know. I've never heard of the Pink Baron.
I think there was. I don't know. Maybe I made it up.
I mean, it's basically a Chevrolet van. Is it a Chevrolet, Pete?
It's a Chrysler.
Chrysler, sorry. An old Chrysler van, which I thought at first was an old British Morris Minor. You can see where the Brits nicked the idea from. Or the other way round.
Probably the other way around.
Possibly the other way round. With a machine gun on it. So because Sam's got this massive sperm count, it's always forgiven. He's had a string of pregnancies in his wake. We want this guy's dick. So they are on the way to the border checkpoint, patrolled by these soldiers who, for some reason, get very confrontational, even though the medtech ladies presumably work for the government and have the correct paperwork. They get all confrontational.
Where's the guard? Wasn't he? He was sent there by the woman because he was beating up Samuel.
Oh yes, he was sent
He
to
got
the border.
demoted, didn't he?
But it was like, well...
I know, yeah. Did you notice on the side of their uniform they had some badges that said Toad Stomper?
I did not.
Yeah, I like that.
Didn't she say that he was in for, like, sort of not productive as well?
Oh, right, okay.
She says that he was unproductive and that's why he was getting sent to the board, like to the board.
But he had a daughter, so maybe he'd gone sterile then.
Just a quick FYI, we used to have pink Spitfires
There you go.
in World War II.
Thought so.
Fantastic. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, and it was camouflage in the sky.
And to be fair, the SAS had pink Land Rovers in the 1950s Oman Desert Campaign.
There you go.
That was a bit of a desert, but it was a very bright pink. Anyway, but this guy just like, here's the papers, the doctor gives the papers, he's just like, fuck it, go on then. Off you go.
I just got the vibe that they were pissed that females are sort of taken over here and they feel a bit,
Yeah,
you know...
because they weren't sterile men, they didn't get to fuck.
And,
Yeah.
Well, they are, aren't they?
If they're sterile men, they don't get to fuck.
No.
It's mental. Bit of a feminazi state.
Yeah. That other one wants to fuck and she...
Yeah, she wants to fuck, but
Fertile.
she's
So why don't
infertile.
why didn't the infertiles just...
Well, we'll get to her at that moment. Yeah, so basically we find out about Commander Toady. I can think about Commander Cody from the Star Wars Clone Wars.
I keep thinking of Toady from Neighbours.
Alright, tired fish.
Yeah.
He's going to catch the fertile humans in Frogtown.
And I want to point out that he's rocking a double denim in the apocalypse.
He is rocking door down.
And I just put legend.
You know what? The only thing saving him is the massive sperm count, but I just give him a new uniform. He's government property now where you can dress him. He's wearing a loincloth with his double denim. Is that how you fantasise about yourself in the apocalypse, Mike?
But just
yeah.
the loincloth.
Just the loincloth, yeah. No, I need the double denim.
He'd be wearing like a double denim he'd be wearing like a denim G-string and a denim waistcoat and a little loincloth over it, like
Denim loincloth.
rapidly double denim.
They had to give him something else. If it was just a double denim, it looked like he'd just stepped out the 80s anyway, so they had to give him a little something and he was like, here, wear this loincloth.
Could be
That's
that.
it.
Or it was more of a banner, like in Destiny.
It could have been some kind of symbol as to how potent he was.
Was he wearing it when he first walked in?
Yeah. Oh no, he wasn't. No, they gave it him.
Maybe it is a symbol then.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he's like, I need to take a piss, and then runs, and then we find out that this belt has a double thing. It doesn't stop you fucking. It also shocks your dick if you go too far away from the doctor, and it's controlled by her earrings.
Cool.
It shocks his dick, and then we find out that obviously it's linked to the doctor, and if he goes too far away from her, it explodes. It's got a pound of plastic explosive, and they just torture him. He's stuck in this chastity belt. He's got the hot, sexy blonde doctor, the attractive army corporal, and they're just like, hey, just teasing him. Oh, I've got to keep you aroused because, by the way, the more aroused you are, the more potent you are. I've got a degree in fucking seduction.
Relax. I've been trained in seduction techniques.
Exactly.
Quote. That's what she says.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
What if I guarantee you that the corporal who says the army, because she strips naked, she knows he's got the belt on. I think that's another ploy. That's why she's not punished when the doctor comes out and says, Corporal, put your uniform back on, so after she's been in bed in his sleeping bag rubbing against him, knowing that he can't get his dick out anyway.
No, but she can get her hand in her hand in to get his dick under the flap.
Yeah, but is that enough? Or is she just going to wank
It
him
looked
off?
enough, didn't it? He seemed to be enjoying
He seems to be
it.
enjoying it, but he's like, just keep him aroused, therefore he's more potent.
Yeah.
No, I think she wanted a bit, didn't she?
She might have wanted it. I think she started off following orders and then got a bit too much.
Maybe.
Well, she said it's a lonely time, isn't it?
It is.
You get lonely.
The next day comes more fun though.
It does when they get to Frogtown,
Well, no,
the mutant reservation.
Not before then, when they find
Feral
the
woman?
feral woman.
Oh, of course, she's the live woman found. Oh, actually, well, we missed a little bit there. because they enter the mutant zone, and he's complaining, isn't he? So they leave him to run along behind the car because he realises if he doesn't keep up, his dick's going to explode.
That's right, yeah.
Which I thought was a bit harsh. Yeah, they find a woman. They're chasing this poor woman down. She's escaped from Frogtown. I don't like it. It's like, this is a bit fucking weird.
This is a bit rapey.
Because like she's got a motion detector and she's like, oh, left, right, and then they run this poor woman down who's clearly been like she's emotionally broken.
Yeah, they
Right,
tie
after
her
a
up.
time in Frogtown, tie her up in like a nice little seductive
Bed.
Well, like she wasn't wearing them. It was like a slave tunic with a high thigh and low cut.
Kind of sexy, to be fair.
Yeah, hog tie her up.
Drug her.
They drug her.
They drug her, and then just go, okay, Sam, do your thing.
They basically give her a hypnol.
And
Yeah.
he's like, what? What?
Yeah, to be fair to him, he is like, what?
It's a bit dodgy, that bit, isn't it?
It is a little
Well, the
bit.
whole premise is dodgy as fuck. You
Well,
wouldn't
yeah.
get this made now, would you?
Well, you know, he could have just been like, hell yeah, couldn't he? But, you know, it's not. Well, he's questioning it, isn't he?
Well,
At
at least he's like, well, you know, I don't want you watching me. I don't want. This is not. I make love. He says he makes love.
Yeah.
He goes, I can't do it under these conditions. It turns out that he fucked a sane.
He basically used his Canadian, Scottish dick to seduce her and
Impregnate her.
get her on his side, kind of thing.
I mean, yeah,
They
I
wake
mean,
up in the morning and she's proper in love with him.
she's
Yeah.
cuddling him and everything. And that's the first third of the film, right there. So that's the first act of the film. We set the world, we've met the characters. Sam's gone from bit rapey. I think he was portrayed as her and
Well, the whole thing is, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
She
but
seems to fall in love with him.
But she
like,
seems
instantly.
he's obviously it's Roddy Piper, and every woman that meets Roddy Piper falls in love with him. We know this. He's got immaculately feathered hair. Even as the apocalypse, he's got immaculately feathered hair. They all love him. He's Sam Hell.
Call me hell.
Yeah, he's got a reputation as being a badass and a great shag.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
That's
It's like, what? Everybody's talking about it. Oh, my reputation goes too far.
So, what are your ratings after the first third of the film?
See, I went for a 6.
You're at a 6,
I
Claire.
didn't rate it. I just.
What would you give us after the first third?
After the rape and everything. the casual fucking...
Yeah, 5.
Nonchalant.
Yeah, 5. I was just like. But then they woke up and they were in love. So
I know, that kind of made it a bit
creeped
better.
back up.
I mean, it is dodgy. That's, you know,
What did I write? What did I
the whole
write
premise
on that?
is, to be fair.
He seemed to have fucked the poor girl back to sanity with his Canadian Scottish dick. This film does make me feel slightly uncomfortable watching this with friends, as it is basically soft porn.
We used to have Channel 5 in this country is still going, but when it first launched, they were the first channel in the UK to show porn. It was
Soft
very,
porn.
very, very softcore porn. All tits and bush.
Yeah.
After the watershed, not on a
No
Friday night.
penetration.
No penetration, just tits and bush. That's all you saw.
Erotic thrillers, though, weren't they?
That's right, the Red Shoe Diaries, David Duchovny just coping with his sex addiction by making a show about sex addiction. But
So now they're going on to Frogtown, aren't
they're
they?
going on to Frogtown and the doctor's like, okay, well, this is the plan. You're going to take me in as a slave because I'm a pale-skinned, blonde-haired, hot, attractive woman, and they don't get many of them in Frogtown. But she's the only blonde in this movie, have you noticed?
Yeah.
And she gets her
There's a couple
BDSM.
more later.
Yeah, well, she gets her BDSM gear on.
Yep.
Handcuffs, collar and leash.
And she says, now I'm your
Tie this
prisoner.
rope around my chest, putting some tit bondage on me, basically.
And she says, now I'm your prisoner.
He loves that.
And he
you know.
says, I think I'm going to like that.
He does love it. But, you know, it's all a cover. He's going to go there, infill, exfill again. Frogtown's basically like an abandoned power station, and they go into what passes for a bar in Frogtown.
There's a guy sat there reading the fucking...
The Frog
Frog
Prince.
Princess.
Notice that.
Yeah.
There's a frog burlesque dancer / stripper on the
He's
bar.
a frog man as well.
Who's a frog? Yeah, she's a frog woman, frog lady. She's like,
she's really hot, and then they pan up her body. It's like, ooh, hot.
oh man, she's just racist against frog people.
This nasty, ugly frog face thing.
The face
Hot
wasn't
body,
great.
though.
She's got the makeup of the female gremlin.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's who
That-
it reminded
yeah,
me
didn't
of. Yeah,
It's almost pebbly.
a cross between that and the big bird thing in Neverending Story 2.
I haven't watched that.
You know the bird?
No, I never watched them
Do you know what I'm
films.
talking about, Mike?
Oh yeah.
His
kind
eyes are
of.
really close together, really big. That it looked like her face a little bit crossed
Well,
with the.
either
with
way,
the
I'm sure she's highly attractive for a frog person,
But
but not to me.
no,
and
not to people's.
she's a handmaiden to the harem and there's the contact inside, isn't she?
That's right. He gets given a drink. He's fucking. It must be gross. And he meets this
Glush
guy.
it is. It's glush that he
What's
drinks.
what's
isn't
a
it?
glush? What's a glush?
Oh no,
is?
that's radio. It was radioactive
Yeah.
sludge, wasn't it?
No, that's right.
Yeah. It's what when they're eating later.
Yeah. He meets his mate from before the war who he thought was dead. 10 years has in this bloke. Lonnie O'Toole or Looney Tunes. He knows the bar owner. He's like, you want a bar for this girl then? Because obviously he's got the doctor there as a slave. He's like, yeah, I want a bar for her. Well, you're going to meet Leroy. This is ripped off Casablanca.
Yeah.
The bar owner's got a white sort of tropical suit, a red fez hat, but he's a frog man called Leroy. The cause he gives him is slightly radioactive, but that's alright. Let's face it, everything in that fucking place is radioactive. I'm surprised Sam's wearing that belt, which is probably lead lined, he's fine. Right? But
Well,
every second he's out of that belt, they are damaging his fertility big time.
And they're eating glush, which is boiled baby tortoise and ground lizard made into a paste.
You know what? Sounds alright to me.
It looked kind of good. To be
I'd
fair.
try it. Ground baby tortoise. Tortoises are meant to be delicious.
Yeah, I'd go for
Although where are they getting the tortoises from in a radioactive wasteland? Why did the tortoises survive a nuclear war of all the animals?
Just hide under the shell.
Just
didn't
like
they?
No,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You
yeah,
know?
I can't eat Michelangelo.
Oh, I don't know.
You think there's something with
I'll
turtles?
have a chomp.
There's something with turtles. They're not effective and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Generally. It's a
Reptiles.
rule of thumb.
Reptiles. Well, you would think reptiles survived the dinosaur fucking.
Well, they evolved into it. Oh, yes, they did, yeah. Alligators descended
It's only
from.
really reptiles that
Yeah, I guess.
kind of stayed.
Maybe that's where the frog thing comes from.
Or some people believe we came from frogs.
Well, what I liked here is a parallel between the frogs and the Native Americans.
On the reservation.
Forced
I
onto a mutant
I didn't get
reservation.
that bit, but yeah.
Second-class citizens.
They're unhappy, aren't they?
They were
Humans
happy.
herding them onto these reservations, yeah.
But what I like though is that Leroy, the bar owner, doesn't want the good doctor as a sex slave, even though she looks like one. I suspect that's what she really wants
Yeah.
to be Sam's sex slave. He just wants a dancer.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, good for you, Leroy. Good for
And
you.
he's like, I'll give you 50 lilies, isn't it?
Yeah, they trade in lilies. Oh, good.
What are you gonna do with a lily?
Oh, maybe that's just a
Sit on it.
currency. Could be a gold coin with a lily on it. You know, we never see him, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we get a character introduced called Bull, who's a frog with an eye patch with a bull whip.
Yeah.
Yep. And he
He's-
says, shut your hole!
In a really homosexual tone. Sounded a bit camp, to be fair.
No private bartering in
Hilarious.
Frogtown.
No.
This is where
Commander
I felt,
Toadie's like, oh, no private barring.
this was where I felt the film did take a step up.
Really?
Really?
You like the frogs?
I liked the frogs, and I liked Bull. I liked his spunk. I liked the way he meant what he said, and he said what he meant kind of attitude.
To be fair, yeah.
Do you want to know how much they spent on the special effects of the frog
Oh, at
people?
least £2.50.
12 grand.
Ooh.
It's not bad for 12 grand, is it? They're not too bad.
Some
Not
of the
too
frog
bad.
outfits
Yeah.
were good. Some of them were pretty shit.
You got samurai frogs, though. That's the cool thing. You got frogs, like samurai frogs with katanas and everything. It was pretty sweet.
We had wakasashis, not katanas.
Well, yeah.
They were only the short ones.
They were the short ones, it's just.
Or they might have been Kupatans, I'm not sure.
But they didn't like the Immortals out of 300.
They certainly did. The frog burlesque dancer is called Arabella, and she wants to fight Commander Toady because he's taken the good doctor. And for some reason, she wants to fight Commander Toady. I don't know why. She's no reason for it.
Yeah, that's not been elapidated on at all, has it?
No. Bit of character development lost there, maybe.
She's got her reasons.
Maybe this is where they shrunk it down a little bit. There was a bit of character
development. You got a point there.
Out.
They might cut some character development.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right there,
I
Pete.
don't really need that. Fuck it.
She tries to seduce Jack because she knows about his reputation.
They've heard about it.
Even the frog women have heard about Sam Howell's dick.
Yeah, and she doesn't want any other frog dick, does she?
No.
It's the way he kind of gives into her, and she's kind of going for it, and he's like, no. She's like, oh, go on, kind of basically, oh, please. And he's like,
He goes, do me a favour then.
Just do me a favour then. And he pulls out a big sack.
Yes,
And then they cut. And the next scene, she's got this big sack on, kind of waiting for him, like, and he's like, look, he's kind of revving himself up like that.
He's still got the belt on though, that's the thing.
Hot body, but...
He's still got the belt on because it starts shocking his dick because the doctor's being dragged away.
That's right, and then he gets saved by the beeper in a roundabout way.
Saved by the beeper, obviously. And Looney and Arabella are watching this and go, nah, let's not do anything yet. Let's not do anything yet, fuck it. We cut to the doctor who's got all the slave women, all the hostages, just dancing around her bed, getting her hot and aroused.
It's like a tantric sex circle.
Pretty much, yeah.
Getting her ready for the 3 snakes.
Yeah.
The dance of the 3 snakes.
It's more horrific than it sounds.
Yeah.
She tells them she's there to rescue them, but they don't seem too concerned. They're like, well okay, but
Just
at the same time, you've got to dance, otherwise you're dead.
Yep.
We cut to Sam, who's been captured, and he's been captured by Bull, and he's got a chainsaw.
He says, I'm going to do a bit of exploratory surgery.
He wants a belt. They want that med tech technology because these frogs are not as evolved. Well, they're like before the war, whereas med tech are probably, they've advanced a little bit past it.
Then his belt starts going off, doesn't it? Beeping.
Yeah, he's
screaming.
But the best of it is that the chainsaw runs out of fuel at this point.
Yeah.
So he's quite relieved when he does get fucking the fuel back in it. He manages to cut the belt off, which then goes off in his face.
Yeah.
After expressing disbelief that they'd never put an explosive on a healthy penis.
Yeah. And before saying, I've got to tell you, you're one weird dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't he, to Sam L?
Yeah, that's great. At this point, Louis and Arabella do run in, and he expresses a weird experience in using flare guns. He's like, I know how to use these, I've been using them for 30 years. And you're like, you've only got to fire it in the air, mate. It's not rocket science.
Not brain surgery.
No, it's...
So technically it kind of is rocket science.
Yeah.
Paul manages to get a big long drill bit.
Yeah.
He stabs Arabella with who takes the blow for Sam, who then goes a bit like, fuck you kind of thing. I'd have slept with her if she had that bag on her head. Well, I did sleep with her.
Yeah, he did look lost as she died, didn't he?
He did, he looked very emotional.
He was definitely getting a sort of attachment to her.
There was as much emotion as Roddy Piper could convey
Yeah.
in that moment, I thought. You know?
Yeah.
And Sam kills him in return, stabs him through the chest with a drill bit, and kills him. Introduces Commander Toady, who is rocking the Tudor look, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Fur boots, fur cuffs, big ruff round his neck.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? For an apocalyptic outfit, that is not fucking bad at all. Even though you're a toad guy. So we could Commander Toady. He orders the doctor to dance the dance of the 3 snakes, the old Egyptian music. And she starts dancing erotically, dressed like a harem slave girl from that particular culture, the baggy blue pants. I think I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
And she's arousing him. He's doing the old Vic Reeves knee rub. There's a show called Shooting Stars, or anyone that's in that, where Rick Reeves would get aroused by Ulrika Johnson by rubbing his knees. I think he went to sleep with her anyway.
Yeah.
Lucky bastard. What about Silence? Ulrika Johnson is still gorgeous.
Back in the day, she was hot.
She's still hot.
Alright now, yeah.
And then we find out what the 3 snakes are.
Yeah, the 3 snakes. He's got 3 dicks.
Yeah.
And they've been aroused.
And they're all aroused.
They've been woken.
3 fucking snakes.
And she's not interested at all.
She's certainly not interested. She kicks them and all 3. It kicks all 3 of them.
Yeah.
We went to the finale after this point. So where are you for the middle act?
I put a bit weird.
I went a bit weird, but I
Bit
still
weird.
Go on, you went a bit weird.
No, that's all I wrote. A bit weird.
Pete, where you at? Wait, what rating unit, Claire? Any idea? Or?
Well,
The middle
I'm
act.
creeping up to 6 because it's a case of it's a bit weird, but it's keeping me interested. I'm not asleep yet.
I'd given it an extra 0.5 by that point.
You're
I'd
just 7.
No, I've gone okay. We're at 6.5 now, because I was at 6.
You said 6, maybe
That was my
6.5.
6.5 was my overall at the end.
Ah, right, okay.
Which we'd done at the beginning.
Is where the 0.5 come from, Mike?
Yeah, it's just this. Basically, I'm just thinking, how did they get anyone to fund this film? I just
What
can't
is
believe
effectively
it.
this man's sexual fantasy? That we've put some action scenes in just to try and make it obvious it's not my actual sexual
I mean,
fantasy.
it's so sexist, it's unbelievable, really, isn't it? You'd never get it made today, not a chance. Imagine
God.
someone trying to pitch this to.
I don't know, man. The whole women in charge, men are treated just like objects just for their seed.
They're hunting down women to rape them, Ben.
Well, no, that bit, take the rapey bit out. Disney would do it. Females in charge, make it more woke. You could do it. Disney would fucking probably remake this.
Yeah, I'd love to show this to some woke freak. Watch him blow
The
the
thing
top.
is, it's not. It's we think Sam's a bit rapey, but it turns out he's not because all them women seem quite interested. The doctor's definitely
Yeah,
interested.
because
The
it's so
corporal's
unrealistic, isn't it? It's just so.
Well, of
It's just
course
a
it is,
male
but-
fantasy.
But we're
film.
not talking. It's consensual sex.
Yeah, but it's unlikely, isn't
It's
it?
really unlikely. But Mike, it's a fantasy film.
I know.
Consensual sex after the hypnol doesn't add up to me, but hey ho.
I'm at a 7. I'm still at a 7 at this point.
Anyway, they save him, don't they? They save the women.
Did you save the women? The doctor then proceeds to kick the two toad guards' arses. She's not bad in a fight at all, is she?
No.
They fire the flare, or Looney fires the flare. Lonnie O'Toole.
Obviously, they pick up the samurai.
Get a samurai
things,
sword.
Yeah, off the guards. Yeah.
The corporal's on the way. At that point, there's a bit of a shootout, and the corporal on the gun can't hit fuck all. You can tell them are blanks the way she's holding that machine gun. She's not hitting anything. But still,
They're flying through the desert, aren't they?
they are. Lonnie's dying in the back of the car. He's taking a hit somewhere on the way.
This is the Mad Max bit, the rip-off in it.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
It did. There's like a armoured buggy with a tank gun.
Yeah.
You've got the frogman leader sort of like coming out the top of the vehicle with his Mercedes-Benz necklace.
Yeah, I didn't notice the Mercedes-Benz necklace.
It's,
I
it's
pointed
the
it
badge
out,
off the
you
front
know,
of a Merc,
Yeah.
isn't it? And he's literally just put it on a bit
Ripped
of
it off.
chain. Yes.
They stop, they get out, don't they?
They do because Squidlips is there.
Yeah.
Who we think is this frog bounty hunter, but it turns out that he's not.
He's the guard, isn't he, for the
He's-
very first...
Yeah, and he's been trading arms for uranium to the frogs, and he's got this mad plan that he's going to be the first person to have a nuclear bomb after the war, and he's going to nuke the world and start again.
Yeah, he said this used to be a man's world. Now there's too many women now. He says, I'm going to rid the world of these meddling madcap bitches.
Oh, you know, you get that in. He wouldn't say that in the Disney reboot.
Certainly wouldn't. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I
There'd
want
definitely be a happy ending, wouldn't there, in the Disney reboot?
Oh,
So there's a happy ending?
this is
Kind
a
of.
happy ending as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they'd all start dancing and singing, and they'd all make love and have lots of consensual babies together.
Sam Howell definitely has a happy ending in this movie, I can tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
He's like got a gun on them all, and he says to the girl behind him, like, the sword on my back. He's like, he pulls a die hard, doesn't he? That's what he does.
He's actually pointing an RPG at them.
He's pointing it out, yeah. He's pointing an RPG at them, which wouldn't go off at that range anyway. It'd go through you. It wouldn't go off though.
No.
Because he's got to travel 30 metres before the fuse activates. But still, it's an RPG. It's impressive. And then Sam pulls a die hard. He's got a samurai sword strapped to his back. He throws a sword through him. The guy somehow escapes. I don't know how he's alive.
Falls off this cliff.
Falls off a cliff
With a sword through his chest.
Yeah. He goes down to finish it. Right? And the doctor's like, oh yeah, no, come back to me. I'll be here waiting. He doesn't notice that this doctor's got a fucking RPG under him. He just kind of gives the body a bit of a nudge with his toe and fucks off. He's got an RPG. These things are like fucking 5 foot long. He's not concealing that.
Yeah. Turns his back on him and then he turns over with the RPG, about to fire it. He slips in the dirt and Radio Roddy Piper hears it, turns around and shoots him in the eye.
He does, straight through the eye. He's got the RPG now. Ho ho ho, motherfucker.
He goes back down the cliff and he finds that the pink shag wagon has been destroyed.
It has, and he seems quite gutted even though there's no charred corpses about, therefore, no one's dead. He seems like, oh my god. Toady comes to him, doesn't he? He's fucking fire the RPG at the buggy. It doesn't go off.
No.
Was it all a bluff? Was it just that corrupt border guard's plan just to have sex with all them women?
Do you think? Well, I thought it was just a duff, shooter.
It could have been a duff thing, could have been a bluff.
It had been dropped down a fucking mountain, first off, and then, it was probably knackered.
Anyway, for some reason, him and Toady have a fight on the edge of a cliff. I don't know where the cliff come from, because he's just come down from the cliff.
Yeah.
But either way, he's on the cliff.
He ran off, didn't he?
That's right, he ran off.
And then nearly fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
And he turned round and Toady was there, jumped on him.
He did, he was an epic jump.
Fighting.
Pokes him in the eyes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sam pokes Toady in the eyes.
At that point, though, when they were fighting like that, I was thinking, I'd be punching that fucker in the eye because their protruding eyes, I'm going to punch his eye into its fucking socket. You ain't standing there like that, Mr. Frogface. I'm going to punch your eyes back in your head. Easily. Couple of rabbit punches.
It's like that.
Well, maybe you can get a metal bar shoved in his mouth.
Yep.
Call back to a previous episode. They're scrabbling for the sword. At this point, Toadie's hanging off the cliff, but he's hanging onto Sam's leg. And Sam manages to finally get it, cuts off Toadie's arms, who then falls to his death.
Yep.
And at that point, all the girls come out hiding, and they're all like, "Yay! We're alive! Look at us!"
And then Sam's face lights up, 'cause he's like that shag fest.
Oh yeah! He kisses the doctor after a little mock argument. He then says, "Hey, the belt's gone. Why didn't you run?" And he's like, "Why would I run?" It's like, "Yeah, because there's 9 women here that you've got to have sex with."
Well, he kissed her and she didn't like it. She was like, "Oh," and she went to use her earring, and he was like, "It's gone." "Oh, why didn't you run?" And then she realised that it came back for her because he obviously had some kind of feelings for her. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm wet for you now." And
that was pretty much it, yeah.
Bessie says, "I'll wait my turn after you finish with them women."
Yeah.
We'll have 2 weeks off.
We'll have a couple of weeks off. I'll ask the boss if we can have a couple of weeks leave.
And
After your duties have been performed.
Yeah, a soldier's work is never done, is what he says. Yeah, like, fuck me. And that's pretty much the end of the film. So this is literally one man's sexual fantasy.
Oh yeah.
It's daft. It's genius.
He wrote the script in 6 days.
Some guy had a dream at night.
It's a classic B movie, fair play.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
My own thoughts were, and they all live happily ever after. That's what I wrote, because they sort of might as well have driven off into the sunset, mightn't they?
Yeah.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They did drive off into the sunset on that fucking crazy Mad Max vehicle.
Yeah, but then is it great for them women being forced to have sex with that man?
They also
I don't
quite
think they were
enthusiastic
being
about
forced.
it.
They weren't being forced no more. They were all wet for him.
You've got Roddy Piper's loincloth double denim and immaculately feathered hair. As a woman, You're not resisting Claire. Are you
They're all
resisting
gonna
Roddy
be treated
Piper?
like queens when
but
they
Claire-
get back to, you know.
Okay, if they get pregnant, yeah.
It's like when she said, "Oh,
You turning down Roddy Piper in an apocalyptic scenario.
No, not after 10 years.
It's like when
There you go.
She said about his duties being performed. Is that my duties? And she looked round at the women, and he looked round. They're all looking at him, basically rubbing their nipples at him. So they were all up for it.
Yeah.
10 years, Mike.
All you've had is frog dick.
Then they may not have had frog dick at that point.
Maybe not. They were slaves,
Because they
weren't
were
they?
hostages as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because he knew he could sell them back.
Frogs haven't got dicks either.
Well, he's got three.
Oh, he had
He's got
didn't
three,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Shame we didn't see him though. I was kind of interested to see these three snakes.
Would they each have a bollock, or would they have like just 2 for the 3?
Well, that's a good
I'd
question.
like to think there's 3 bollocks at least. Like,
I like to think there's like 2 under each.
Yeah.
I think that would be over bollocking. Like, too many.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the pants.
Too many bollocks.
I think that's why it hurts him so much when she kicks him in each one. Because I mean, getting kicked in the dick's not fun. But getting kicked in the bollocks isn't either. And she's going to make the way she went up. She was making a connection with her bollocks, wasn't she? Just kicks him under the legs.
Speaking of bollocks, it is a bit bollocks this film, isn't it?
I give it a 7, mate. I liked it.
It's
You know,
funny, it's dodgy, it's...
it's a banned sexual fantasy portrayed on screen with some extra action scenes to make it seem like it's not his sexual fantasy.
What were your final thoughts on this?
I love a B-movie. I really do. And I don't watch enough of them. This, I love this. I'm always a sucker for a post-apocalyptic movie, apart from The Postman. That sucked.
And it's quite pertinent, really, after Putin's just threatened to nuke the Satanic West today.
Well, he can threaten all he wants.
The Satanic West, eh?
Yeah. So there are parallels to be drawn. Maybe in 10 years, if we're still fertile, we'll be hunted down by medtech, and
One can only hope.
one can only hope, eh? These are some might be a silver lining to that mushroom cloud after all.
Not if we're in fucking Telford, we ain't.
Well, yeah.
This place is target, mate.
It is a target. You're right.
If it does kick off, I'm fucking grabbing my kids and we're driving as far away from Telford as we can. And genuinely.
Where would you go?
Don't give a fuck. Just
Welsh Mountains, I
Yeah,
guess.
50,
Welsh
60,
Mountains.
70 miles away from Telford if I can.
Remotest places you can find, yeah.
Just fuck off straight to Wales.
Everyone else would do that as well.
You'd have no warning.
They wouldn't tell us.
No, you get an alert on your phone. They've done it in America. It's a national thing. You can be alerted via your phone, but my phone's on silent when I'm asleep.
Don't you remember that alert that went off in Hawaii?
Yeah, missile attack. Seek shelter.
Seek shelter, missile is incoming.
Huh.
Yeah. Everybody on the island had that. Thousands of
A
people.
15-minute warning they give you. You wouldn't get that if Russia decides to launch. You get a 4
It's like
tops.
8:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
Something like that. Apparently the Pornhub activity spiked at 200%.
It was just a false alarm.
They claimed it was a mixture of a false alarm and a drill. They detected something, realised it was fake, but sent it anyway as a bit of a drill to prove the system worked.
Yeah, there was a cock up somewhere. I think it took an hour and a half or something before the second message to come through saying it's a false alarm. So, they thought they were going to get hit by nuclear weapons. I've seen a documentary on it. It's madness.
A scary fucking prospect.
I like the idea of the text alert though.
No,
Oh god,
I
well,
don't-
brilliat what we're meant to do.
Well, at least I know it's
We're
coming.
meant to put a fucking mattress up against the side of the wall, aren't we?
Yeah,
Get
you
some
would-
bags of dirt.
Get some bags of dirt, prop that up against it, civil
Yeah,
defence,
and
Mike.
live in there for 2 weeks, shitting into a bucket.
Yeah, if we got the alert now...
I'd delete that straight off and go, fucking scammers.
Alright, we've got 50... Alright, let's put it into context. Then we'll end the show, because we've moved off the film now. 15 minutes, I ain't making it home. I ain't making it to my loved ones, for me, yeah? The roads would be jam-packed, chances are neither would you two. Well, Claire, you could get down the road if you walked.
Yeah.
And then there's
I'll
me...
get to my family at least.
15 minutes, if that went off, all the roads would be just immediately
Fucking run
blocked.
there in 5 minutes.
Oh, you're not too far away, are you?
Run that literally.
Well, it's just me and Mike dying in here then.
And the cat.
With the cat. And the only place you've got to go is that hallway with the doors closed.
Because the windows have probably come in. To stay in that little strip for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For the
What
radiation.
did you guys do? You'd empty the kitchen
Yeah.
of all the food and
And
put it in the
water.
hallway.
Yeah. Fill,
Drink.
get as much water at the taps as we could into anything we could. Get some kind of bucket to shit in.
Grab the cat.
Grab the Imodium.
Grab the as much emojis as we could. We've got time to loot the Tesco. No, we haven't. We only got time to loot the Tesco. We never get in there before everyone else got there.
You'd be alright, you'd have time to loot Tesco.
You never have time to get bags of dirt.
No. I mean, let's say it's 3 minutes to Claire's house, and yeah, that's you down to 12 minutes then. That's all the time to loot Tesco and get back and have any kind of meaningful defence set up. But anyway, World War III, possibly on the cards, who knows. Let's end the show. I've been Ben, thanks for listening. Follow us on the aforementioned platforms of most podcasting networks under Cut Into the Ball in the PTA, Facebook on Cut Into the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse, and YouTube at Apocalypse Bull. And if I meet you in real life, I'll grab your phone and make you subscribe.
Because you probably don't know how to spell apocalypse.
Yeah, I struggle. Thank God for autocorrect. Don't drink the Forever Aid and don't join a cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
I've been Claire, keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Aim low but shoot high.